Hi, so this is Paul from the Eating Keto channel. A new channel on YouTube. Never done a YouTube channel before. This is a first for me. But I have done keto on and off, and the issue I've had over the past several years. Now, I found the keto subreddit maybe 5-6 years ago, and read about this way of losing weight. And of course, there's lots of diets. You go on different diets, and you hear Weight Watchers is great, or Atkins is great, or all the different liquid type diets are great. For a while, I tried doing some juicing, and that turns out you lose a lot of weight quickly, but as soon as you start eating, you put it all back on a little bit more, which I think is typical of a lot of diets. So most of the diets are pushed by an entity, an organization, and they obviously have an agenda to sell. They pay for advertising, etc. But keto wasn't like that. Keto didn't seem to have any company behind it. What it had was a forum on Reddit, which is a public available forum site with lots of different forums about lots of different things. And the forum basically talked about, this is what keto is, this is what you have to do. It's, the body will fix itself if you just follow these basic rules. And, here's a frequently asked question, here's a small overview, here's how it works. And then they had a so-called progress pictures, and in the so-called progress pictures, you had people posting progress pictures. Starting pictures at this weight, 3 months later, lost 40 pounds. Start picture at this weight, 2 months later, lost 20 pounds. Starting picture at this weight, 6 months later, lost 100 pounds. And there weren't just a few of these. There were hundreds and hundreds of different people, and most of them looked like the later picture was the same person in the earlier picture. Now, of course, they could flick them around. I've seen these before and afters where the after's actually done before the before, and then they fill themselves with food and they do a groggy after. But it didn't appear to. There were too many different people for that. And the write-ups, people were giving advice and talking about what they did. So it appeared to work. It appeared to work substantially. And what people were saying was I didn't really have to do much. I didn't have to exercise. I didn't have to starve myself. I ate regular portions. I lived my normal life. I just cut out a few foods. And the body turned into this ketosis mode and started burning its own fat, and I started losing weight, even without doing more exercise. Now, we've always heard that to lose weight, you have to eat less and move more. It's the law of nature. And when you're overweight, it's tough for people to say that. I think thin people don't realize that maintaining the existing weight you're at is not too difficult. In fact, if you move a little bit more and eat a little bit less, you can maintain the same weight you're at. But actually losing the weight you've stored over the years, and for me, it was always November through February. I would put on 5 or 10 pounds every year. And then I'd maintain through the year, and then November through February, and what's the reason? In America, we have Thanksgiving, big meal, Christmas, big meal, lots of presents, lots of sweets, lots of candy, lots of cookies. I had my birthday in January and Valentine's Day in February. You can even add Easter in April, but all days to eat lots and lots and lots of sugar. And, no matter what I would do, the rest of the year I thought I was doing well. I'd lose a pound or two here. I'd maintain, and then I would put on 5 or 10 pounds at Christmas. If it's 5 or 10 pounds, that's not so bad. But over 10 years, that's 50 pounds to 100 pounds. A lot of weight. So, looking at this keto thing, it was a kind of a miracle. So then I wanted to see, well, what did the other doctors say about it? Is it dangerous? Is it, could you give yourself a heart attack? It used to be a fen diet. You took some pills and lots of people died of heart attacks. There used to be the Atkins diet. There was some rumors there that it wasn't good for the heart. So obviously the first thing you look at is, okay, what's the medical research? And the medical research is don't do keto. It's going to give you a heart attack. And then you dig a little bit deeper and you read a lot of pro-keto type doctors, and you find out they've been using the keto diet to treat epilepsy for a long, long time in different countries. And you also find out that the people giving the advice from the government, the FDA, appear to be kind of funded or grant funded by a lot of the food companies like General Mills and Mars and other companies who are very heavily into cereal, very heavily into wheat, very heavily into sugar. And they're funding the people giving the advice, building this food pyramid with wheat at the bottom, wheat and grains. So you start looking at other countries and saying, well, is America telling you the truth? Is the influence too big that you're not getting the true picture? What do other countries say? What do England say? What does Denmark? What does Sweden? What does Australia? And in some countries, they've actually done some quite big studies on these low carb and keto type diets, and they've now actually switched over their recommendations to start saying to their general public, this is the better way to eat. Limit the amount of carbohydrates you have, limit the amount of grains you take in. This is not particularly good food for your body. So when you start reading that, you see there's a balance between the two sides of the argument. So which side is telling the truth? Now you've got experts on one side saying it's actually okay, it's a good way to eat, it's a better way to eat, and you're going to feel much healthier. And you've got experts on the other side saying, hey, this could lead to a heart attack. Something to chew on, for sure. But I weighed up, I'm very methodical. I do a lot of research on things. I procrastinate for a little while. I try to make the best decision I can. I do that in everything I do. I put most effort I can. I get as much information as I can. I try to make the best decision based on what the information I've got. And then whatever happens, happens. So I decided, I think it's worth a try. There's too many people out there losing weight who, the people who have been on it for a year, 2 years, 3 years, they're not dropping dead. They might be the lucky ones. But it appears to be something worth a try. So I went on it. I thought, the only way you find out if something's true or not, if you're being conned, is to try it. So I went on the diet. I had the 2 or 3 day, induction period where you get a bit of keto flu, and now I know how you get rid of that, but at the time I didn't. And then you get the dry breath, the very metallic-y breath. And then you basically just eat the keto way, which is really kind of 5 or 6 foods out of your diet. It's not that difficult, although those foods, we've grown used to eating those foods all the time, like bread. We have toast in the morning, we have a sandwich for lunch, or we have a burger, or we have pizza. The bread and the dough is everywhere. So you have to kind of get used to not eating that stuff. But I got used to it, and I went on the diet, and sure enough, after 3 days, I weighed myself, and then like a week later, I weighed myself, and I was down 4 or 5 pounds. And some of those days, I had eaten a huge amount of food. Absolutely huge amount. Big plate of meat, big plate of vegetables. I thought, there's no way I could possibly have lost weight because I was stuffed. I was full. I'm a big guy. I like big portions. And I still lost weight. And I continued it for another week, and I still lost weight. And, I carried on it for a little while. But one of the big things you can't eat, which they call liquid bread over here, is beer. You just can't drink beer. And, my social life being what it was, comfortably, happily married. I run a big soccer team in Southern California with a lot of guys in it. We socialize a lot. We go to practice. We go for a beer afterwards. I'd fall into drinking beer. So I'd go on keto. I would lose a bunch of weight, and then I would start drinking beer, and it would be pointless because I would fall out of ketosis. And one of the things with keto is when you cheat, you've got 3 days to go back in it. It's a very painful lesson. If you're going to cheat, it takes 3 days to get back in. So don't cheat. It's painful. But I always did. I just couldn't stay away. It's not like I'm alcoholic. It's not like I drank loads of beer. But it just, Wednesday night after football practice, let's all go for a quick beer. It was a social thing. Keeping contact with friends, sometimes keeping contact with work colleagues. Friday and Saturday night, as a couple, we would go for dinner, have a meal, have a beer. But what I found was Wednesday was football practice with a beer afterwards. Thursday, I met a guy from work with a beer, for a beer in the local pub, know the landlord. Friday and Saturday, my wife and I would go out to dinner with different people, meal and a beer. Sunday, I'd play soccer, go for a beer afterwards. The only 2 days I wasn't drinking beer was Monday and Tuesday. And that just does not work on the keto diet. You just can't drink beer and be on keto. It doesn't work. So some life changes happened. I've been married for 18 years with the same girl for 25 years, and we came to an end. And that so I'm going through now. We're going through the divorce process, and I've accepted it. It took a while, but I've accepted it. And one of the things you have to do, if you're going to be a single guy, you can't be a big fat single guy. It's not going to work. And I'm overweight. So I came to the reality that I need to give up the beer. I need to take this seriously. I need to go back onto keto. I know it works. I've done it several times over the last 5 or 6 years, fleetingly. But now I need to get serious. Now I need to really focus on it. How to break that to my friends, I go for a beer all the time, very difficult. The way I chose to break it at the end of January, I told them that I was going to go for a dry month, kind of like what the Catholics do. I have some friends who do things for Lent and give up things. I told them, look, February is the shortest month of the year. I'm going to try to do a dry month. If I could do a dry month in February and not drink any beer for one month, maybe they could support me in that. And I knew what I meant was I could go on keto at the same time and really try to lose weight. So I started on the 27th of January 2019. And I would, still go to the pub, but I would order a pint of Diet Coke, which I only sipped a little bit of because Diet Coke's not particularly good for you. It's okay on keto, but it's not good for you. And a pint of water, and I would drink the water and drink another pint of water and drink another pint of water. And you have to drink a lot of water on keto anyhow. So in some ways, being at the pub, when my friend drank 4 pints of beer, I drank 4 pints of water. And it kind of worked out. And friends who once may have kind of gently pressured me into drinking alcohol, as they started seeing me lose weight in February, and they started seeing that it improved my soccer game, it improved my, outlook, my look, whatever, they kind of started saying to me, well, why stop? Why just do 1 month? Why not do another month? Which was great, because now instead of peer pressure to drink, now I'm getting peer pressure to keep dieting for whatever reason. And I think that is a massive help. So for me personally, that's enabled me to carry on. And sure enough, now we're in March. I said I'm going to do another month, and then we'll see at the end of the March if I carry it on. And what I did do at the end of February is I took 2 days. I came off. I had some Christmas stuff left over. A packet of biscuits. I had them. A small packet of chips, crisps. I had them. And I put 2 or 3 pounds back on of the weight I had lost in January just in those 2 days by eating a few carbs. But I wanted to give myself a break, and also I don't want to exclude carbs completely from my body because, I don't want my body to then not know how to deal with carbs. So I figured once a month for a day or two, I'll just have a sandwich, have some bread, have a cookie, have a piece of cake, whatever it is, but only at the first couple of days of the month. So I'll go the whole month dry. The first couple of days of the next month, I'll let off, and then I'll do another whole month dry. So that's my strategy. And my target in February was to see if I could lose 20 pounds, and I was nowhere near it. About the 23rd or 24th of February, I got down to 15 pounds. That was the most I got down to. And the problem with keto is your weight fluctuates. So what happens is you get a downward trend, but it goes down, then goes back up a little bit. So I was down to 15, and I told everybody, all right, big push for the final 5 pounds. Did a big push the next day of exercise, just walking, just trying to see if I could lose some extra weight, and went on and found that I had only lost 12 and a bit pounds. And I was like, man, it was 15 yesterday, it's only 12 and a bit today, that sucks. So anyhow, I got to the 28th, it stuck around 12 or 13 pounds, and then I had my couple of days off and put 2 or 3 pounds back on, and the end result was 9 pounds lost in February. That was the net loss, which is less than half I wanted, and my goal was 20. So now in March, I'm still trying to get to the 20, and I'm back on it. But the truth is, as long as I'm losing weight, as long as the trend's going down, I think it's okay. I am sometimes a little jealous of people who go on keto and lose 30 pounds in 4 weeks, but I think they're much bigger on portion control than I am. I'm lazy keto. I'm not having tiny portions. I'm not starving myself. I'm having a good breakfast, a light lunch or snack, and then an okay dinner. Breakfast tends to be bacon and eggs, or pork chop and eggs, or just eggs. Lunch tends to be either a protein pack or a salad, and dinner tends to be meat and vegetables. So I'm actually eating a decent amount of food, and I may also have meat and cheese snacks. It's not like I'm starving myself, but the weight's still coming off. So as of today, I am at 18.4 pounds lost. I'm still trying to hit the 20. I'm hoping by the end of this month I'll hit the 20. I went down 0.2 pounds today. I went down 0.2 pounds yesterday. So I'm still losing weight. The trend has to keep going down. But the reason for doing the videos is because I think there's a lot of people out there who kind of want to do keto. They don't really know exactly what they should buy or what they should make or how they should make, how they should mix foods. And I am doing it, and I am losing weight, slowly and steadily. And because I've been in and out of the process for 5 or 6 years, I do know a lot about it. And I think I know what you're supposed to do. It's interesting because I've tried a lot of different things. Sometimes I look at people who lose a lot of weight and they're taking MCT oil or they're taking a coconut oil. So then I'll add that into my diet and say, does that make a lot of difference? Some people don't eat so many vegetables. They eat a bit more meat and less vegetables. So instead of their macros being exactly, very light carbs, medium protein, high fat, they actually end up having slightly higher amount of protein, maybe a slightly less amount of carbs because vegetables have a lot of carbs in them. And maybe they lose a little bit quicker. So I do try to vary things a little bit and say, well, if I have a day where I just eat meat, does that make a difference? If I have a day where I'm light on the vegetables, does that make a difference? If I have a day where I'm heavy on the vegetables, does that make a difference? What about salad? If I have a lot of lettuce, does that make a difference? So I'm always trying stuff, always trying to figure out. I'm also not panicking over 20 grams of carbs. 20 grams of carbs is what you really want to hit if you want to lose weight. But really, my goal is to stay in ketosis and lose it slowly. So if I go between 20 and 50, I'm going to stay in ketosis. So if I go to 25 grams of carbs, I'm not going to kill myself over it. But my goal is 20 or below. Just means that I may not get there. And I want to do it practical. I'm a man. I'm newly divorced. I'm not a cook. I don't overly enjoy cooking. I'm trying to get better at it. I'm trying to learn it. But keto has to be easy for me. I have to take shortcuts, and that is another thing that hopefully in this channel you'll realize is that I'm not a great cook, but I'm basically using what stuff I've got to try to make keto meals to try to see if I can lose the weight. That's the plan. That's the reason for the channel. I hope you like it, and hopefully I'll get some feedback after I kind of publicize it after I've got a few videos up there. All right, thanks.